Today on the WEInvested podcast, we have Ian McClue, and he is the founder of the NFT Art Fund. Ian, how are you feeling today, brother?
I'm very blessed to be on this platform. Thank you very much. Looking forward to having a great conversation.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, thank you so much for joining, bro. I'm excited about it. And this is our second time speaking, man. And when I reached out to you, you responded right back. You showed me love, and you really giving me a lot of game, man, just throughout this time that we've known each other.
Yes, I always think it's great to share knowledge when you can. And also, being a content creator, I know how difficult it is. So it's always great when you can, collab with other great content creators too.
That's what's up, brother. That's what's up. So look, let's just jump right into it, man. Well, you know what? Hold on. Before we jump right into it, can you let the people know where they can find you on social media?
Okay, so you can find us at NFT Art Fund on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. We're most active on Instagram because we do a lot of curation daily. But yeah,
That's what's up, brother. That's what's up. And so, how do you like that TikTok platform, bro? What's your thoughts on that?
TikTok, well, it's great for the vertical integration. We've got to put our eyes on, the what do they call the millennials? No, not millennials.
Gen Z.
The Gen Zs. We've got to focus on them. So it's great for that. It's hard to get around, but I'm trying.
Do you consume like a lot of the content?
Not so much because I'm mainly on Instagram, but here and there because sometimes you get the content on Instagram.
For sure, brother. That's dope.
Yeah.
So, first question, man. What is NFT Art Fund?
Yeah, so the NFT Art Fund was originally created back in January 2021, first with a friend of mine, with the idea that we wanted to educate artists about the technology and how they can use it to empower them creatively. So um, we really noticed there was a lack of curation. So people just make their art, but they didn't know how to curate it and talk to collectors. And so, we started an Instagram page. At first it was Twitter, but it's not great for curation. Started Instagram and we, grew an audience from there. And we've been releasing guides, trying to release some unique content. We did a thing called Genesis series. So we break down um, what, for example, what is CryptoPunks and why it's valued as it is. And that's our journey so far.
Nah, that's super dope, brother. So, how did you get started in this space?
Yeah, so back in 2018, whilst studying at university, a friend of mine shared this article about Bitcoin and fiat. I was like, oh wow, this is awesome. Then I was on YouTube browsing and came across this video by this guy called Gordon Berger Art, and he was just talking about how um, blockchain is gonna disrupt so many industries, and one of them in particular was the art industry because the art industry is known to be very opaque. Like if you want pricing, it's like no one knows, no one can tell you. It's not one price; it changes. So that was in 2018, and then fast forward late 2020. Like I was on Twitter and I just see NFTs blowing up. I'm seeing Beeple, I'm seeing lots of stuff happen. And then I'm like, yeah, I got to get back in this again.
For sure, brother. So, when you first heard about NFTs, did you think it was like a scam? How did you feel about it when you first heard about it?
I was so excited. I was just like, for me, for some reason, I just instantly saw the potential. I was like, you could tokenize anything. Like this is so limitless. And one of the greatest things I was excited about is it can give creators back power to own their content and be able to distribute it how they want to. That's what I was so excited about.
That's dope. That's dope. So, for a person that's never heard of an NFT or not really familiar with it, how would you describe or define an NFT?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I like to think of it as basically a digital certificate. So, you know, when you, for example, let's say you send an email of a picture of a friend, the email doesn't, the server doesn't actually send that. It sends a copy of a copy. So with an NFT, the idea is it does two things. Not only can you prove the ownership, but it's also trying to solve digital scarcity. So, for example, you can have like one of one items, or one of 10. So yeah, it solves two great problems there: proving digital ownership and scarcity.
For sure, brother, for sure. So, how does an NFT get its value?
Okay, like anything, so it's really based on um, um, you know. So let's say, for example, you can let's look at the luxury market approach for Veblen items. If it's considered highly sought after, and then there's very little supply, and it's going to be you can charge great sums, but if you've not controlled the supply, and there's a lot of supply but very little demand, you know not many people want it. So at the moment, right now, it's kind of it's a hype rush. What's the hype, what's the buzz? But there are some NFTs, in my opinion, that regardless of the hype and the buzz, will always have a historical significance. One example is that CryptoPunks, because it was like the first PFP, digitally scarce NFT project on Ethereum. Yeah.
Yeah, man, and that's it's crazy that you mentioned that, or I'm happy that you mentioned these crypto punks. I've been watching a lot of No Jumper and Adam 22, and he's been talking about how he just bought a crypto punk for $160,000. So I'm like, man, that's crazy. And I know it's crypto punks like on sale for even higher, in the millions of dollar range. So can you kind of elaborate or talk a little bit about crypto punks, or their how they started, or whatever involved around crypto punks?
Yes, that's brilliant. And I will also plug. There's a great. I do a great Genesis series on this on the NFT Art Fund. So back in 2017, these guys created a company called Lava Labs, and they made like basically 10,000 pixel characters. So you had humans, you also have apes. But the thing is, there's not much. There's humans, apes, and zombies. Human, apes, zombies, and aliens. Sorry, aliens are some of the rarest. I can't remember numbers of how much they are, but I think it's around less than 50 or something like that. Then apes is less than 100, and then zombies I think less than 50. And then humans, there's obviously they make up the rest of the portion of the 10,000. And all of these punks have different attributes as well. So some of them have hats, different hair color. They might have a cigarette. They might have glasses, and you can basically, on these 7 attributes, that kind of also determines the rarity as well. So, for example, there's a famous punk which has all 7 attributes. It's actually been listed for $170 million by the owner. Yeah,
170 million.
yeah, and he's publicly on Twitter told that he's had offers in excess of tens of millions for it, but he's rejected it.
That's crazy.
And the even more mind-blowing thing about CryptoPunks was back in 2017 when it was first released, it was
Mhm.
completely free. All you had to do was pay for the Ethereum gas costs. But who would have knew
Man,
then? Yeah.
right, right. So that's crazy, man. And is and now in today's time, it's like so many NFT projects popping up, and so many, people are looking at it and hoping it's the next crypto punk.
Oh yeah, that's true. I think what people have to be very cautious about is you see CryptoPunk. There's also a lot behind it in terms of the code. So the code that they used was actually groundbreaking in terms of what I've been told. But a lot of these projects, what they've done lazily, they copy code from previous projects, So there's not much innovation, utility. At the moment, it's just a small handful of people, I would say, whales or influencers dictating the market.
For sure, brother, for sure. And that was, man, that was super insightful, bro. Because I didn't even really know much about CryptoPunks or how they got their start or even what made them so valuable. But I mean, the way you just broke it down, man, just made it so simple. Anybody can really understand it and grasp onto it and see the importance in it.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure, bro. So, what's your prediction or your forecast of this NFT market space?
Oh wow. We're only seeing the beginnings. I believe Tuesday, Alibaba announced an intellectual property trading NFT marketplace. So imagine now you're an actual artist, but you don't want to, let's for example say you got an unreleased song, and you want to sell some of the rights to that song. You could do that, and then for every time that song sold in perpetuity, so someone would say that, you get a percentage of that sales royalties. Um, it's limitless. There's so much potential. But I feel like what we need to be is a bit more strategic, because I think at the moment people are just doing anything. It's not making too much sense.
Right now, I would agree 1,000% because it's like you said earlier, man. It's like a gold rush right now, so everybody's trying to get in. Everybody's trying to drop an NFT and just get in that space.
Yeah, yeah. But I think definitely, if you plan and find your niche and you target that well, and if you've got an audience, we can do very well. I think Tory Lanez has done a tremendous job at that, with his drop. He did that drop in a very smart way. Yeah.
Yeah, man, and that's a great segue. That was the next question I was going to ask you. Like, what are your thoughts about people turning their music or their albums or mixtapes into NFTs? Like, what's your take on that?
I think it's brilliant, especially when you're releasing mixtapes. Could you imagine, like, for example, Lil Wayne, when he's dropping his tapes and stuff, I really believe artists should be able to eat off, their creativity. And that's one of the greatest things I'm so excited for this space is, for the creator economy. So the fact that if you're an artist, musician, you're putting out and distributing your work and you're able to reap full profits from that. I think it's awesome. I love it.
For sure, brother, for sure. So, we mentioned a little earlier that there's like so many NFT projects popping up and everybody's getting involved in that space. So, are there any, projects that you've seen that you personally like or, have your eye on?
Oh yes, I've got a bias to a few projects. One of them in particular is one called the HashMasks, and I like what they've done, and it's very smart because it's more art focused. So they've done a number of things. So you've got the actual art itself, and then when you actually purchase it, you get full commercial rights. So I think what a lot of people forget is when you buy an NFT, you don't actually get the intellectual property. However, HashMasks has actually given you this, as part of their sales. And in addition to this, you also earn something called a name changing token just for holding a hash mask. So when you buy it and you hold it every day, you get 10 name changing tokens. So it's almost like passive income. But these name changing tokens can be used to change the name of your hash mask, which is then meant to give it, an extrinsic value. So it could technically increase or decrease the value of your hash mask. So I like the way they've approached the project. They've also given the owner some option, and it's got great utility. Um, Other projects that I've got my eye on, I think one standout project I think is doing well for the community in terms of representation, World of Women NFTs. Um, the artist behind that, I think, has done a wonderful job in representing, women of color, and in the crypto space, because it's sometimes dominated by mainly men. And I think that's an awesome project. I think that on top of my head, those are two projects I would recommend. I'm not gonna shell out the yeah.
Bro, now I appreciate this information that you've given us, man, because this is the first time, this would be the first time that many people heard about these projects. And it's just it's dope to have some of that information before something blows up, like before it goes too crazy,
Yeah, no, definitely.
for sure, bro. But like I was saying earlier, man, we I DM'd you, and the relationship kind of took off from there. But with that being said, you have a great social media presence. So how would you say that social media has impacted your business?
It's been absolutely influential. I think I quickly learned that this is a never-ending game, so I had to adjust, and you quickly adapt, and you learn to cater to your audience. And I think it's wonderful what social media has done, because through the Instagram, I've been able to connect with people in Bali, for example, you in the States, people in Canada, people in Saudi, like so many different countries. And it's just been almost like a portal that has given me access to so many different networks. So I'm truly grateful. Yeah.
Now that's a super dope way to describe it, bro, and explain it like a portal. Like that's dope. And another thing too, I gotta give a big shout out to you too, man, because you're in London right now, you're in the UK right now, and it's 1 a.m. over there, and it's 5:20 p.m. over here. So I really appreciate you for locking in with me. Late
Yeah,
night grind.
definitely. Definitely. And since we're on shout outs, is it all right if I do give a shout out now, or is it a bit
Oh yeah,
later?
do your thing, brother.
Okay, there's a great brother that I have to admit, he helps me a lot on my journey, especially with something we're going to talk about, DAOs and other stuff within the crypto space, and that is Thompson Trife. Shout out to you, man. Honestly,
Yeah, shout out to Thompson Trife, man. Yeah, one
yeah,
of them ones.
yeah.
Yeah, man. So speaking of shout outs, and people putting you on, man. So what would you say is the importance of having a good team or having good people around you? And how did you build your team?
Yeah, that's something at the moment I'm also working on too. I've realized it's very important to have people that understand the vision and what you're trying to do. Otherwise, you don't want to clash heads, and then that causes a lot of friction. You want to be a well-oiled machine, and that works well. So that's something I really appreciate. Creating a good team, and very much looking to continue doing that in the future.
For sure, brother, for sure. So, what would you say is your favorite thing about being an entrepreneur? Um, and your favorite thing about creating and building this platform that you've built for yourself?
Oh wow, entrepreneur! Oh, I hope to live up to those that title. But I think, do you know what? I love the fact that every day I know when I wake up that I have like complete ownership of what I'm doing, and I know that every day, like if I apply myself, I can really make something. And I'm seeing results, whether it's metrics in terms of reach, or talking to people, hopping on meetings, or getting on podcasts. Um, I love that. And I just love the social part of it. Interacting with so many different uh, people from different walks of the world or life. Um, I really enjoy that. Yeah.
Nah, that's super dope, brother. And just speaking about the social aspect of it, so did like COVID kind of dampen the social aspect of it, or do you think it? How would you say COVID impacted you and what you have going on?
Yeah. So at first, I was, I used to always go to in-person conferences. I used to love that. Um, at first it took a real hit, to really adapt to that. But I think, especially with the crypto scene, everything is really online. So once you adapt to that, you don't really miss out too much. But it's as they say, being able to adapt and then to survive and then grow. So that's how I've applied myself, and spending a lot of time in Discord channels.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, bro, what do you think about like people saying, the world kind of going virtual, or the world going digital? Like, um, you have
The
platforms like
metaverse.
right, exactly, bro, exactly. So you have like cryptocurrencies like Decentraland and platforms like Decentraland where people can meet up online, and they may have a NFT that they bought, and they're hanging it up in their virtual home. So whenever their friends come over and visit them, they can see it there. Like, what's your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, you've raised a very poignant point there. Um, the metaverse is this term that gets thrown around. It's the idea basically that the metaverse is almost like our digital home, um, our digital universe. Sorry. Um, so some people think like that this space will be like completely digital, but there's some people think it'll be more augmented. Like, you have like wearable devices, and it could like uh, project something about like your social status or something. But as you mentioned, Decentraland, a great project as well. I would definitely uh, tell people to look into that, because people are even buying land on that. That's the whole thing. We can even talk about that too.
Right.
Uh, um, but yeah, so what I think a lot of people are kind of speculating on is, in the metaverse, is the idea that we want one app, because we have Twitter, Instagram, and all the. We want one app where we all meet up as maybe as these characters, maybe as like a PFP, but actually we're quite used to this. If you're playing online, playing Call of Duty or GTA, you're already doing this. You're already practicing. You're already used to it. The only difference is now with stuff like Decentraland, if you actually buy a skin or in-game item, you can actually trade it back and get the money out of the game. It's not stuck
Oh,
in
that's
the game
crazy.
anymore.
Nah,
Yeah,
I didn't know that, bro. I didn't know that.
yeah,
Man, this I'm
that's the game
telling you,
changer.
right, bro. This tech is getting crazy. This technology is
Yeah.
getting crazy. Yeah, yeah. So, man, this space is so new and so like, um, you know, unknown and not known about or whatever. So let me ask this question. It's a separate question. Who do you look up to for inspiration and why?
Okay, inspiration. I would have to say it's my the females in my life. So that's gonna be my mom and my grandmother, because despite the odds that 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 was in front of them, they've really pushed the boundaries and shown me that anything is really possible. So it's having those strong female leaders in your life. Definitely thankful for. And I would also say uh, Marcus Garvey. That's someone I read a lot about, and I also loved his vision. It was so grand and so big at that time, and people were like, and he created this movement. Um, yeah, those are people I look up to.
Yeah, nah, that's super dope, bro. So, um, I don't know if you mind me talking about this. If I'm overstepping, just let me know. But you was talking about you were inspired by the movement that Marcus Garvey created, but I know that you were talking about you wanted to create your own council and your own community and governance type. So is that something that would mind kind of talking a little bit more about and expanding on, or is that for a later date?
Oh, yeah. So we can mention that, and that brings us nicely to DAOs. So the idea is a DAO stands for a decentralized autonomous organization. So a DAO basically is is basic is a DAO is basically what democracy should be. So this is how it works. When you join a DAO, they create a social token. So let's say, for example, you created WEInvested DAO. All your Patreon subscribers, they will all get a certain amount of WEInvested tokens. And what you can do is anytime there's a proposal or fundraising, they can use the tokens to vote. And everyone's vote will be counted equally. And not only that, is they can also choose to trade the tokens if they want to. But there are some very powerful DAOs in the crypto space. They have millions, and they've funded whether it's films to a lot of community action projects. And moving on to what I was thinking, I think it would be absolutely awesome to bring this technology into, into the Black community and piloting and showing how it can be used to empower the community. So that's something I'm very keen to do.
Nah, that's super dope, brother. And what's even cooler is like you're the best of both worlds. So it's like most people who are super into tech and the latest technologies in NFT space, they may not necessarily um care too much about the social side of it or the social aspect of it. They could just be locked in on the code or locked in on the technology. But it's like you understand the importance of community. You understand the importance of making relationships, and um, I just think it's dope, and that's what I feel like sets you apart from everybody else in this space.
I appreciate that. It's very kind of you. But yeah, I've very quickly realized community is absolutely essential. And that's actually, you raised a very good point there, because actually there was a recent debate about this on Twitter, because a lot of the apps created for crypto, when you're using them, it almost feels like you need a PhD in crypto to use it, because it's too
Facts.
complicated. The reason being this is because it's the developers have developed for themselves. They haven't developed it in the mind for a lay person to use. So I think it's going to be awesome to have more people, regular people, come into the space and give their opinion on how things could be more streamlined and less complicated. Yeah.
For sure, brother. So, what would you say is the single most important reason for your success?
Oh wow. I'm gonna give that one to God, because honestly, I think it to say everything I could have planned out. No, I couldn't. I couldn't have planned out, because I was talking to actually a quite this guy. He's got a quite big project. I can't reveal it, but he was telling me how he was in this since 2018, and he's like, yeah, your success, honestly, like what you've done is great, like it's unheard of, especially. So I think I really have to give that to God's timing, because when I started this, I had no idea. Actually, funny enough, as we speak, I literally just hit 20K followers.
My boy, congrats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank
On
you.
the
Yeah.
show. Break that, my boy.
Yeah, making history, man, making history. So like,
Exactly.
I couldn't have seen this coming. Yeah,
Nah, that's super dope, man. Congrats on 20K. That's big, bro.
thank you.
That's major. Yeah, man. And you've been putting in that work and posting just super consistent all
Yeah,
throughout the day, just staying on top of it,
yeah,
getting
got to,
after it.
got to.
Yeah, my brother. So, how would you like for people to remember you and your companies?
Um, so the idea is, um, it's always community first. So catering to what artists needs, and hopefully becoming a voice for artists. And then secondly, there's a quote that Virgil always said, and it really struck with me. And when he was talking about when Kanye created Donda, and they were talking about they wanted to raise the taste of a whole generation, and I was like, that's awesome. Like imagine like you change like the whole, and they really did that. And I kind of want to do something similar in the sense of not only just taste, but tech and art too. So trying to combine the best of both worlds.
That's amazing, brother. That's amazing. So, what does the future of the NFT Art Fund look like to you?
The future of NFT Art Fund, definitely um, having a having our own app, and that's something I'm very keen to work on. So it's going to be really a sociable place to hang out. I want it to be. It's not really going to be too focused on art, but it's more like meant to have this kind of coffee shop vibe almost, where you go there and you hang out and you're having these conversations. But yeah, that's something I envision at the moment. But yeah, that's hopefully having our own platform, definitely.
That's amazing, brother. That's amazing. And before we get out of here, man, could you talk a little bit more about the guys that you offer in the Genesis series that you were talking about too? Would you mind kind of getting into that a little bit more for me?
Oh, definitely. So when back when we started, I quickly realized a lot of there was an information asymmetry because people were just seeing uh NFT sell, but they're like, how do I do these things? How do I have a wallet? How do I connect it? So I said, okay, let me streamline this. And so just created these guides, which basically from step to step explain how to make an NFT, what are gas fees, breaking down the jargon and making it accessible to people. Um, and then the Genesis series, that's something I'm very keen to get back started. So it's really giving people an insight into the history behind projects, so that they can learn more and become more informed about what projects are really here to stay and why. And yeah, kind of almost kind of like a historical documentation. Yeah,
Nah, that's super dope. And it's extremely important, man, for people to understand the history and why this popped off, why this NFT project was actually here to stay, so or lasted the test of time. So I think that's some really good information that you're providing to the people, man, because nowadays, information is worth more than money.
that's true. That's
You
true.
know what I'm
True.
saying? And teaching people how to get involved in the NFT world and how to really get started and letting them know what to expect. Because when I was kind of dabbling in it, when I first saw the gas fees, I was like, man, what's this? Like, it's gotta be a scam. There's no way the gas fees are this high. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like having somebody there to
Yeah,
inform you about what's going on is a huge help to the community.
yeah. The so with the Ethereum, because I'm glad you raised up about gas fees, because what has happened is basically recently the Ethereum went on this thing called the London fork. So the whole point of that was to really reduce control by miners, because before Ethereum was basically it was proof of work. So the idea that it's being mined, and basically from being mined, the miners kind of have control over much of the supply. So they were setting the gas prices. So they were like, oh, if it's not this level, we're not going to accept the transaction. So they were manipulating a bit, but now it's like proof of stake. It's a little bit more, it's getting reduced, it's getting lower. But yeah, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
For sure, Ian, brother. Thank you so much for your time today, man. I've definitely learned a lot. It's like every time I talk to you, bro, I just get some new information and pick up on some new game.
Yeah, you're always welcome. And yeah, I love your charisma, your energy, and I think it's absolutely amazing what you're doing with your WeInvested platform, and the knowledge and the people that you've had on here to also educate and provide some great content. Definitely financial freedom is the way.
For sure, brother. I appreciate that, man. And look, before we get out of here, at the end of every podcast, we like to play a rapid fire question game where I ask you 3 questions. So if you're willing to play, I'll go ahead and ask.
Go ahead, ready player.
All right. Question number 1. Where's your favorite place to travel?
Favorite place, Jamaica. Yeah, definitely.
Jamaica. That's hard. Why Jamaica?
Actually, I spent some of my childhood there, so got some deep roots, deep family roots.
For sure, brother. For sure. So, question number two: what song explains your life the most?
Ooh, this is a good one. I feel it has to be. I feel like stronger because like there's been so many things in my life, but I just become stronger every time.
What's that? That's that Kanye.
Yeah, that's that Kanye man.
All right, all right. A little final question, brother. What's an amazing thing that you did that no one was around to see?
Oh, that's difficult too. That is difficult. Okay, I'm gonna go with one I can remember the top. I like to run, so I did like a 5K in a pretty competitive time, but like it's just one of those um silent victories. But yeah,
Yeah.
I I enjoy my runs.
Yeah, that's dope, brother. And you had to train for that 5K, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it, bro. You one of them ones like to sit down, make yourself train and go through with it, man. That's amazing, bro.
Yeah.
For sure, brother. Ian, thank you so much, man. Learned a lot, man. Have a good one, brother.
Thank you, Wesley. You take care.